Okay, welcome to another episode of Crime Pays but Botany Doesn't. Today we're coming to you from the border just north of Tijuana, right there in the California-Mexico border. I'm here to show you a couple cool species of cacti, maybe some other stuff if we can see what we're going to get into. You never know what you're going to get into. Okay, it is heavily militarized. I've already been stopped twice, but they seemed fine. They said, oh, we're coming down here. Maybe there's another one coming down. I hear an engine up there. Anyway, they said, you got to get out of here soon. So I said, okay, but I'm going to take a little bit longer. And, so it's nice. They've already talked to us, so we could just say we're on our way out. But, it's not like they kicked us out immediately. So we're just going to drag our heels. But I want to show you the species of Cylindropuntia prolifera up there and some other cool cacti that grow in the shade. Okay, so we're going to go up there. But before we go up there, I wanted to show you, I couldn't help but notice all these late season members of Asteraceae blooming. Okay, it's wild. All right, like this Isocoma menziesii. So many members of the sunflower family, aka Asteraceae, aka compositae, the composites, because they got a composite flower. All right, you figured that one out yet? You can see a bunch of tiny flowers inside that involucre. Anyway, so many of these go off in the fall when nothing else should be blooming. Right there you got Baccharis sarothroides. Right there you got Baccharis salicifolia. Salix, the genus of willow, because it looks like willow leaved. So salicifolia foliage. You got the, this is a nice one. Right here we got the Stephanomeria diegensis. Okay? Named after Diego. Okay? Could be San Diego, could be a guy named Diego. I like to think it's a guy named Diego. But, you really never know. It looks like a chicory because it is a subfamily Coyote of the sunflower family Asteraceae. Okay? All ligulate flowers. Okay? Not disc flowers. If you don't know what that means, that's fine. If you go down a wormhole with this shit, you'll figure it out soon. All right? Ligulate flowers. All ray flowers. Look at it. The purple anther tubes and a purple style with the little fork at the end of it popping out of those. And there's that involucre, multi-seriate involucre with a little bit of wax around the margins. So anyway, how do these Asteraceae do it? I might just have to take you on a short diatribe, okay? Another disjointed rant into the wonderful world of fall blooming composites. Then we'll go up there and we'll look at the goddamn, the rare cactus and what this shit. But we gotta check this out because they're really doing something pretty amazing. They're blooming in the driest, hottest time of year. Well, the hottest time of year was 2 months ago, but this is certainly the fucking driest, okay? This is the dormant season. Brown is a season in California. All right, this is like the winter in the Midwest, okay? Most of the stuff you see as hills are mostly brown, okay? Because they're just waiting for the winter rains. That's the way things work out here. Summer dry, winter rain. Okay, one of 5 places in the world you get the Mediterranean climate, along with the coast of Chile, South Africa, the Mediterranean region, and Western Australia. So let's go check it out, all right? The fall blooming composites. Prick! Nothing should be blooming now. But all these composites are just going off. Look at it. Okay, so here we go. Baccharis salicifolia. Baccharis is generally a fall bloomer. It's also one of the largest genera in the sunflower family Asteraceae, if not the largest. Plants are dioecious, meaning their individual plants are male or female and flowers are unisexual, as opposed to monoecious, where the flowers are unisexual, but the plant has both sexes on it. Okay, so right here, this appears to be a male. Are there 2 different plants here? Because I see, what the fuck? Maybe it's monoecious, because these are male flowers. See those little pollen presenters poking out, and there's no fluff on them. And what do I mean by the fluff? The fluff is this. See that? That's the fluff. So that's a female. Those are female capitula, female flower heads. Okay, because that fluff, that pappus, is attached to the seed. So what's going on? See, here's a female flower. See that? Before it's it's still flowering before it dries out and dehisces. But either way, all you got to know is the individual capitula are in fact unisexual, and that's a male. All those little styles poking out, just presenting pollen, but functionally infertile in terms of producing a seed. Look at those the individual flower is, look at that. 5 corollas with a little style poking out of it, out of that fused anther tube. And notice how the styles don't break out into a Y like they do on most other members of Asteraceae. That's what you gotta know. That's a male, and this is a female, okay? Which looks like it's mostly done. But you see that pappus, okay? Who's your pappy? Who's your pappus? You see that pappus, you know that's a female, because those seeds got to get wind dispersed. They got to get out there and get around. And look how tiny the aforementioned seed is. See that little flake at the end of that feathery shit? That's the seed. So incredibly tiny, yet it can grow into a frickin' bush. It's 12 feet wide by 12 feet tall. Oh, I'm getting a smell of effluent coming from, it doesn't smell good. It does not smell good. Anyway, massive ambrosia, salsola right there, and a massive Baccharis sarothroides right here. And look, this thing is lit up, man. It's lit up, and it's covered in pollinators. I must have had a heart attack. I thought those were the dreaded invasive European honeybee. Save the bees! Save the bees, but only the European honeybees, because that's all we have context for. We see. Oh, that is a European honeybee. Ah, fuck. Anyway, there's a really cool species of fly we've seen around here called Palpata mexicana, and it's one of the dominant pollinators here in the borderlands. We just seen it all over this fucking Baccharis. I could smell this thing from here. Holy shit! Let's see if we get a money shot. See, there's that Palpata. Look at those. Look at it. He's a syrphid fly. Look at those big. Oh God, I love these guys. I love because there's a context for him. All right, makes me wonder what he's doing in his ecosystem. What else he's related to? Okay. How old the lineage is. You know what his adaptations to this environment are. The specific environment of winter rain, summer dry. Where does he go in a dormant season? Huh? But you don't worry. I don't wonder about that with European honeybees because they're from Europe. They got brought over here by fucking people, and it's just, whatever. I guess they're good for the almond growers and what the shit that are slowly draining our aquifers. But I don't really care for them too much. Speaking of invasives, that's a whole lot of Ricinus communis. Poinsettia family produces a castor oil as well as the deadly compound ricin, and a real bad invasive, real bad non-native invasive. I could see how it's beautiful. Okay, I would feel it was a lot more beautiful in its native ecosystem, where it's got all the checks and balances that keep it under wraps and prevent it from creating monocultures and competing with native plants. And right there you go, fennel. Okay, smells good. Carrot family, Apiaceae, but it don't belong here. Okay, it could serve an ecological role. It's food for pollinators. There's a species of butterfly that uses that as a host plant, but the natives can do it better. So we're not going to shit on you guys too much. We just there's a context for you, and it ain't here. And look at this guy. Look at it. Another honeybee. Somewhat annoying, but whatever. Wish it was a native pollinator, but I'm not going to shit on him too much. We're trying to keep this positive. All right. Anyway, there's the flowers on Melosma lorina, another incredibly cool and incredibly heat-tolerant member of the Anacardiaceae. Why are more people not growing this? Because they don't know. They don't have any context. All right? Why you grow oleanders when you could grow this? All right? The flower, look, the nectar potential. Look at this guy. He's been there 5 goddamn minutes. Look at that. Just going from flower to flower, hitting that thing, collecting the pollen. Okay? And they smell good too. And it's just so, and look at the foliage. Even when it's not blooming, that new foliage has all those anthocyanin pigments in it, the red pigments acting like plant melanin, protecting the new fresh tissue from UV damage and from drying out. And then you get to the old foliage, and it's got that wax. These are so incredibly tolerant of the heat and the drought. It's incredible. There's so many cool members of Anacardiaceae. Sometimes you get the Tourette's real bad, okay? It's called Cook County Tourette's. It's going to be a new radio show we're starting up, all right? Just pick a word that's accentuated in that nasally Midwest accent and just burns your ears like acid, right? Here, I'll go first. Time! There's no time. Crime! Is it a crime? Violators are subject to a fine. Don't get a job. Job! Get a job. Job! Time! Fine! Crime! Mayor! So look at this, a little ways down the road, we got distracted here with these fall blooming composites, and we got just massive fields of Isocoma menziesii, an extremely easy plant to grow, very glandular foliage, and look at this, just fucking lit up, look at it, no daisy rays, no ligules, just discoid flowers, and you got it blooming for, look at that, blooming for acres. Okay, so that Baccharis sarothroides, like many species of Baccharis, is dioecious. So plants are functionally unisexual. All right, just like Pat. Okay, for any of you dopers out there. And on the left right here, we got a female flower. And on the right, we got a male. All right, and they're both just stick. See, the female's got that fork-shaped style sticking out. Just looks like a little hair sticking out of that involucre. And then that male, you can see it's got the pollen on it. See that yellow stuff? That's all the pollen. All right, and see how the style's not breaking out into a little fork? It's just presenting pollen, because, you know, composites do the whole secondary pollen presentation stuff. If you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, that's fine. Just hang with me, all right? You'll figure it out eventually. Okay, pollen on the right, on the male, and little fork-shaped white style ready to receive pollen on the female on the left. See that? All right? And you got a whole fucking field of it just going off right here. All right? Why not have this in your yard if you live in a region? All right? Instead of your tacky oleanders. Quit trying to be somewhere you're not. Quit trying to fake the funk, as Del the Funky Homo sapiens said. All right? Don't be full of shit. Just appreciate where you live. Learn a thing or two about it. Quit acting like a fucking jackass. Quit going to the Home Despot Garden Center. My hope is that one day, maybe the Home Despot Garden Center will be selling some of these plants. All right? But honestly, I don't think they got enough class to. I think they're going to keep trying to sell fucking oleanders and the dreaded crepe myrtle. Isocoma menziesii. Look at it. Just lit up. Just fucking lit up here in the fall. Do you know how weird this is? Nothing should be blooming now. Okay? Nothing. Nothing. It is dry. How do they do it? How do they do it? How do they do it? Wonderful perennial, extremely easy to grow. And if you wanted to grow it, you would just take some of these seeds from these post-mature flowers, because every flower produces a fruit. In Asteraceae, the seed is technically just a single seeded fruit. So you would take these seeds, okay, see that? See the seeds right there? Below the pappus, who'syourpappy.com, and you would just sow them in a little pot, or just, clear out an area of bare soil in your yard, put them in there, and they'll take off. And then you just get covered, and you come home from work, a day you want to kill your boss or something. All right, you got a fucking parking thing, some bullshit, just the bullshit of life. All right, and instead of going to drink or drown yourself in booze, maybe you come out and sit in your garden and see who's visiting, all different pollinators and the birds that are going for those pollinators, the lizards that are hanging up beneath this shit. Pretty soothing. Look at it. Oh, that's nice. Just fucking lit up. And Texas has its own native Baccharis species. We get Baccharis neglecta out there. All right. Some of these halfwits don't like it. They think it's a weed. But, you ever seen the whole thing lit up in fucking butterflies in October? Butterflies and different bees and with this shit? God, it's great. The whole thing's just like a giant nectar buffet. Here we go. Now that we finished that, we're going to continue our little jaunt up this hill into a slope full of spiny things that can hurt us. Here we go. That guy's pissed. You could hear him. You hear that? What's he mad? Why you mad? I'm leaving soon. Don't be a cop. I don't get these fucking raptors sometimes. Okay, so you can see the border wall's right up there. I just gotta get real quick before the cops kick me out of here. I gotta just show you some of these. All right, Cylindropuntia prolifera. Okay, the coast Cholla. It is one of the meanest fucking plants you will see in this area. Okay, again, Cylindropuntia, the prickly pear subfamily of the cactus family. So Opunthioideae is the subfamily here. Notable, they're synapomorphies. One of the traits that all those members of that subfamily share is that they have barbed spines. So, if you stick to them, it kind of acts like Velcro. You could see it tugging my skin right there. And it doesn't feel good, but I do have to show it to you so you can just understand what's going on. All of these growing on this hill might all be the same genetic individual. Okay, because one of the main ways that they spread is not by seed. I mean, they can spread by seed, but, some of these, well, you get hybrids. It's going to, fuck your mind up if I try to explain to you too much, but sometimes you get hybrids of Cylindropuntia that are sterile. So they can't produce by seed. They can't reproduce by seed. They just make photocopies of themselves. It'd be like if you're sitting there with your ass on a copy machine, and every time, the paper came out, it made a new you. That's kind of what's going on here. These arms break off readily. As you could see, they fall down. I mean, this fell into this Russian thistle, but once that Russian thistle dies and decays, that will eventually hit the ground and root itself, just like these little bastards have right here. Cylindropuntia bigelovii, you get more inland, the teddy bear cholla, a real mean fucking plant, brutal. You might have seen that photo of a golfer with all of them stuck to his shirt. He fell into them. It's kind of a nice thought. Look at that guy right there. See, they don't let go. So they break off really easily in the wind, these segmented arms. Once they fall into the ground, they send out little feet eventually that will then root the plants in. And and just create a new one. And you can see that's probably what's going on here. These are not, these individuals were not grown from seed. They were just grown from one plant, maybe that germinated 300 or 400 years ago, maybe more recent, maybe further back in the past. A nice little bird nest there. How about that? Every once in a while my ADD kicks in. Anyway, I digress. You know, so all these were probably germinated. The original genetic individual may have germinated 500 years ago, and it's just been successfully cloning itself via those arm segments that break off and are root into the ground for the last 500 years. That could be what's happened. And in fact, there have been a couple papers on that we know that is what's happened in some cases. But again, you know, there will be, these are the fruits right there. Doesn't look like any kind of fruit you'd want to eat or put in your mouth, but there is seed in there. You know, my friend Michelle Cloud Hughes studies these. She's a botanist down here. There's some real weird shit going on in terms of, you know, ploidy levels, you know, how many chromosomes, how many copies of chromosomes some of these things have. If you got a sterile hybrid that's produced when two species bang, and so it can't produce seed, but it can just keep cloning itself. So you end up getting, you know, the same genetic individual occupying an entire mountainside. See, now there was a time, okay, maybe 8 years ago, maybe 9, back when I used to drink. A friend and I got hammered, and we thought it would be funny to just, you know, I would take my shirt off, put some sunglasses and maybe a bear's hat on for protection, and he would throw, using a gloved hand, using it with a railroad glove, arms of the Cholla at me, not this species that was Cylindropuntia bigelovii, a meaner species, okay, with meaner hairs, almost hollow hairs, barbed hairs. And it did indeed hurt like hell, but it was also funny, and we were laughing our asses off. It was, you know, it was good fun. But not everyone is going to respond that same way if you break one of these arms off and throw it at them. See, I'm just helping them propagate right there. See, that'll root into the ground in the next 6 months. Now this bastard right here, this is Eriogonum fasciculatum, one of the buckwheat family, Polygonaceae. And it looks like it's, I mean, it's dead. Well, it's not dead. It's done flowering, okay? Still alive, brown as the season. Once the winter rains come in, this thing will light up. These tiny little leaves, look at it. Look at those tiny little fascicled leaves. Will reemerge from whatever stems are not dead yet. And then these flowers are bright white when they go off. Very important for pollinators. You can get one plant that has like a 6-foot spread and is just covered in tiny little flies and what the shit. But let's look at this guy right here. Another endangered cactus from the California coastal scrub, Southern California coastal scrub, with a more extensive range in Baja California. Probably not for long, because a lot of that land is going to get turned into tacky, hideous resorts for morons. But regardless, Phaerocactus viridescens, okay? A barrel cactus with a little bit of a gold tinge to it. You see that? Even showier when they're blooming. Look, you got a fucking cholla. The cholla just has they just don't care. It's just putting its arm right in the apical meristem on the apex of this Phaerocactus. These fucking things, I love. I mean, I like mean plants. I like it when plants are assholes. And Cylindropuntia really takes it to a new level. Look at those little knobby fruits. I will make fun of that, though. Why you got fruits like that? They look like goofy little apples or nuts. I don't know. Anyway, so Phaerocactus viridescens. You can see it just occupying this conglomerate of this primarily sandstone substrate, sandstone and conglomerate. So some of those cobbles are mostly looking like metamorphic rock or intrusive igneous rock. So, you know, they were heated up and cooked at some point, but the matrix that they're in is mostly this coastal sandstone, as you can see in that road cut up there. Does that make you horny, you filthy fuck? Anyway, you can see that. Look at it. Look at the color palette though. All the oranges and the pinks and shit, huh? Get some fancy fresa doing that in their bathroom. Do your bathroom in that color palette. God damn. Even with the old dead flowers of the buckwheat, the Eriogonum fasciculatum, it still looks nice. You got pinks in there. You got pinks. You got yellows and shit. Oh, fuck. I think Border Patrol's around me. We got to go. Louie, what are you doing over there? See, she knows not to come up here. She doesn't like cholla. She doesn't like all the spiky shits. Oh, yeah. See, so there's those fruits. You could barely see them. They're just ensconced in the spines. That's a fruit. See that bulbous fuck? I just pulled one out of there, and you could see the seeds. Look at all those seeds in there. So how did these get dispersed? Probably some bird supposed to go in there, or they just dry out, then, you know, I guess, you know, I don't know. Naturally, the seeds naturally blood. The seeds probably have a long shelf life on them, but I'd assume it's got to be a bird, because only it seems like a bird could get in there with the little beak and rip that bastard out. Look at it. Look at this plant. Just a beautiful assortment of betalanes and chlorophyll and different carotenoids, perhaps covering the spines. So I'm going to go in there with a Leatherman. Fuckers better be giving me some sort of, you know, eventually someday these assholes better give me some sort of kickback for how much I promote their fucking product. Okay? Anyway, I'm going through with the Leatherman. Got to break some of those spines. Sorry, guy, but it's in the interest of conservation. Then we're going to pull that fruit out, get those seeds, and get into a grower. There we go. And of course, as always, as is good etiquette, we're going to spread some of those seeds in places where they're likely to do well, like in the shade, the dappled shade of another cactus species. Every time you take seed, you got to spread some. That's just the way it goes. Don't be an asshole, prick. This is nice. So I took that fruit. This makes more sense, okay? I'm moving on up just like the Jeffersons. Instead of those plastic drug baggies that get the cops all horny when they search me, I got these paper envelopes now. So you could look how mucilaginous that shit is, too. Looks like somebody blew their nose. Anyway, that's the fruit. Those little black things are the seeds. I'm going to take this and give it to someone in an area that grows native plants, and hopefully they can get, you know, 70 to 80 little Phaerocactus viridescens seedlings from this, and people could start planting in their yards as a form of ex-situ conservation with the shit. That's got to be extremely easy to grow once you get them past the seedling stage. Because they just, I mean, cacti just do so well. They just hang in there, you know. Be nice to see that in the front yard, you know, in beautiful Chula Vista or something. Look at that. Look at these little bastards just hiding out under the cholla. Okay, they're not going to get gnawed on because the cholla is going to protect them. They're not going to get blasted with the sun if you have a long, hot, dry spell. Look at that. Oh, my God. Look at that Dudleya. Dudleya pulverulenta. Looking like shit because we're in the dry season. But come spring, come winter rains, that guy's going to light up. Some of these Dudleya pulverulenta can get fucking massive. And again, hiding in the shade of the cholla and whatever the shit this was. What was that, a Brickelia? It's a dead Brickelia or Hazardia or something? Asteraceae, you can see the old capitula right there. And there's the flower stalk for the Dudleya. And it's just like a little pink flag, conspicuous pink flag when it's going off. All right, gets pollinated by the hummingbirds. I love, they do it so well. So many plants in deserts hide under the shade of larger growing, spinier things. Okay, well, that's all I got for you this afternoon. Have a great night. Go fuck yourself. Bye.